Right now, ICE agent shot and killed another person in Minneapolis today. How lawmakers in Minneapolis and in our state are responding.
And alert day conditions continue through the rest of the weekend. How cold those wind chill values could be. Waking up not only Sunday but Monday as well in the full forecast.
Plus, how these recent frigid temps are impacting local farmers and their animals. That's all coming up on News 3 Now at 6. Minneapolis man was shot and killed by ICE agents Saturday morning, just over 2 weeks after an ICE agent shot and killed Minneapolis resident Renee Good as she drove her SUV. Minnesota leaders are condemning the shooting and calling again for the federal government to withdraw ICE agents from their state. CBS News' Lena Zach is in Minneapolis with details.
Another fatal shooting as ICE raids continue in Minnesota. Officials say a 37-year-old American citizen was shot and killed by federal agents.
Officers arrived and have found an adult male with multiple gunshot wounds when they arrived. Life-saving aid was being rendered, and he was transported by ambulance to Hennepin County Medical Center, where he was later pronounced deceased.
Minneapolis residents were stunned.
A neighbor was murdered. One of our regular pub attenders was right there. I mean, they were murdered on the street.
ICE officials say the protester killed was in possession of a firearm.
You can see the gun here on the screen there that individual possessed. It appears to be a semi-automatic high-capacity type, possibly a Sig Sauer 9mm.
But Minnesota officials say the deceased had a valid gun permit and condemned the use of deadly force.
I just saw a video of more than 6 masked agents pummeling one of our constituents and shooting him to death. How many more residents, how many more Americans need to die or get badly hurt for this operation to end?
Tensions again inflamed. Protesters took to the streets today.
We're hearing bottles being broken in the streets. There is a literal dumpster fire over there.
The shooting comes one day after thousands took to the streets of Minneapolis to protest ICE activities in Minnesota, and roughly 8 weeks into Operation Metro Surge, in which thousands of ICE agents first descended upon the state. Lana Zach, CBS News, Minneapolis.
Minnesota Governor Tim Walz condemned the shooting and called on the president to remove federal agents from his state. Governor Walz activated the Minnesota National Guard in wake of Saturday's shooting. Guard troops are reportedly going to both the shooting site and to a federal building where officials have clashed with protesters. Additionally, the man killed, Alex Preddy, graduated from Preble High School in Green Bay, Wisconsin. And the aftermath of the shooting led to political brass in our state to respond to the incident on social media. In a very brief statement, Governor Tony Evers simply said, Wisconsin stands with Minnesota. And Republican Congressman Derek Van Orden said Democrats must stop their rhetoric that has incited this type of violence against our federal law enforcement officers. And Democratic Senator Tammy Baldwin also weighing in, saying another totally unnecessary tragedy. These masked, unarmed, and untrained ICE agents are totally out of control and making Minneapolis less safe. She continues, this has all gone too far, and the president needs to put an end to this. Get ICE out of Minneapolis. And you can download our Channel 3000 Plus News app to keep up with the latest updates on this story. Stay up to date and get updates sent directly to your phone. Just head on over to your local app store and search Channel 3000 Plus. Now let's go ahead and get a look at your first one forecast with meteorologist Blaze Keller. Blaze, it's still freezing outside.
It is still cold. We have spent over 40 hours below zero, starting from about 10:45 back on the 22nd through the current time frame. Our air temperature in Madison and across southern Wisconsin, for the most part, has been below zero. Obviously, our wind chills have been below zero as well. Not as bad at the current time. We have certainly dealt with much colder wind chills, but we are still going to keep those alert day conditions throughout the rest of not only Saturday, but into Sunday and Monday as well, because particularly Sunday night into Monday, those winds will pick on up, and that means that our wind chill values will once again get cold. Temperatures, as I mentioned, below zero for most of southern Wisconsin. Let's take a look at what those morning wind chills could be like as we're waking up on Monday. 25 to 35 degrees below zero because those winds are going to be picking up. So again, make sure you're staying with News 3 Now. We will keep you updated throughout the weekend, not only on those cold temperatures and wind chills, but if any schools are calling for delays Sunday ahead of Monday's cold. We're settling below zero tonight. Any relief from the cold? We'll take a look in the full forecast.
All right, sounds good, Blaze. We'll see you then. And we all know the extreme effects of the freezing temperatures and how dangerous the cold has been as of late. But what significance does this weather play on animals, specifically farm animals? Our Nash Adara has a story. Nash?
Jalen, there has been major significance. Farmers across Wisconsin have put normal tasks on hold this weekend, prioritizing the safety of their farm animals as we are still in the midst of one of the coldest few-day spans in years. Katie Schultz is an owner of the Trifecta Dairy Farms in Fox Lake. Their team has been battling the cold this weekend, assuring the well-being and comfort of their 400 milking cows by weighing out many components, keeping the animals well-bedded with jackets and deep straw, as well as fluffy bedding. Having running water makes sure the calves can continue to grow and stay healthy, while also adding extra calories to the cows' diets to make sure their bodies can maintain normal functions, such as producing milk, growing calves, and keeping themselves healthy.
We're surviving in survival mode this week. It's just getting the chores done, making sure the animals are taken care of, and it's manageable when you stay ahead of it. Everyone here at the farm is on high alert, just making sure that if somebody looks off or if something doesn't look right, that we can be ahead of the curve and just making sure that we give those animals a little extra special attention. We just look at 24 hours at a time. What can we do to make it through the next 24 hours?
Essential pieces of equipment that were also needed to keep up with the animal safety is maintaining warmth, opening and closing pen doors only when needed to help with ventilation, and preventing more cold air from coming into the heated buildings. Jalen, being vigilant has been the #1 priority this weekend at Trifecta Farms, keeping people taken care of who have been exposed to the harsh winter elements, but just as importantly, monitoring the animals who have to endure the same freezing temperatures.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Nash. And as we continue to push through this stretch of bitter cold, you can help News 3 Now and Channel 3000 this upcoming week for the Week of Warmth. Help us raise money for the Keep Wisconsin Warm and Cool Fund. You can find out how you can get involved and donate. Just head to our website, channel3000.com. And as always, you can track the forecast on the First Warn Weather app. It is hourly planners, road conditions, and even radar. You can download it for free in your phone's app store. Just search WISC Weather. In other news, the Wisconsin State Patrol says they arrested a man Friday night on suspicion of his 5th offense of operating while impaired. A state trooper pulled over a vehicle on the I-94 eastbound just west of Johnson Creek for speed violation, lane deviation, and following too closely. This was just before 8 p.m. The trooper says the driver, a 62-year-old man from Milwaukee, showed signs of impairment. Field testing showed he was intoxicated and he was arrested. The man had his blood chemically tested at a hospital before being booked into jail for failure to install an ignition interlock device and operating with a revoked license. Officials add that he was also on a probation hold. Coming up next on News 3 Now at 6, health insurance is even less affordable this year. We break down why. Plus, we're not the only ones getting hit with some harsh weather. Much of the country is getting it too. We take a look at the winter storm sweeping across the nation.
You're watching News 3 Now at 6.
Thank you for staying with us. President Trump is threatening 100% tariffs on Canadian imports. Trump made the threat Saturday, saying the tariffs would happen if Canada were to make a trade deal with China. Trump's latest threat is a turnaround from comments he made last week when he said it would be good for Prime Minister Mark Carney to get a deal with China. Earlier this month, Carney met with China's president where they formed a strategic partnership. The White House has not clarified what would be classified as a deal, nor when or if any new tariffs would take effect. You probably saw your health insurance premium go up this year, regardless of how you get your insurance, through your employer, Medicare, or the Affordable Care Act. Experts say there are many common factors driving up the cost. One top reason is that Americans have been going to the doctor more often in recent years, partly due to the deferring treatment during the pandemic. Experts say the increased utilization has led to diseases being diagnosed in later stages in some patients, leading to more intensive treatments. Experts also say there has been an increase in Americans suffering from chronic diseases, including cancer, heart disease, and obesity. Speaking of obesity, the cost of popular obesity medications have sent pharmaceutical costs skyrocketing. According to the health policy research group KFF, several insurers on the Affordable Care Act cited the medications as a reason for premium increases. Now, you might want to make sure your sweaters and bowls of soup are within reach. A major winter storm is blanketing much of the U.S. this weekend. Ivan Rodriguez reports.
Don't go out. Stay home and make yourself safe, and safety is paramount.
A blockbuster winter storm is bringing snow, ice, and bone-chilling temperatures to much of the U.S. this weekend.
Frankly, it will be colder than any sustained period that New York has experienced in about 8 years.
States of emergency were declared in several states, and forecasters say tens of millions of people from Texas through New England will be affected.
Our city crews will be working around the clock to clear the streets and keep up with the pace of the storm.
The frigid blast is already causing travel issues. Some roadways, including Interstate 20 and I-49 in Louisiana, is closed due to weather.
If you do get stranded, make sure you're in a safe space. If you're on the interstate, get off on an exit ramp. You can get to a publicly lit parking lot to get to the destination where you are absolutely safe.
As of Saturday afternoon, more than 10,000 flights in the U.S. are canceled through Monday, according to travel tracker site FlightAware. Meanwhile, officials at Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport are using new machinery to try to minimize flight delays.
I'm confident that we will keep the airfield open for arrivals and departures throughout the entire event.
The bottom line from officials, avoid the outdoors and roadways if possible.
We panic in the South. I'm not so much a panicker. I got gas and electricity, so as long as I got gas, I'll be all right.
I'm Ivan Rodriguez reporting.
And coming up next on News 3 Now at 6, how that winter storm is impacting us here locally in Wisconsin.
Well, we are looking at nearly 45 hours spent with our air temperature below zero. Still at this hour, we are recording air temperatures below zero. So we're roughly at about 43.5 hours because we officially slipped below zero in the Madison area at 10:45 on Thursday evening. And we have stayed there throughout all of Friday and up to this current hour. Is this the longest we have spent with air temperatures below zero? Absolutely not. We spent back in 1983 from December 22nd through the 26th below zero. That would be over 4.5 days, 101 hours. So we're not anywhere near our record, but it certainly doesn't make spending this time below zero any better. There is some relief on the horizon. We'll take a look at that here in just a moment. We're still going to keep those alert day conditions through Monday morning with a few chances for some light snow tonight into Sunday. But really over the next 10 days, we continue to see this trend of little to no significant snow. The reason is because a series of high pressure systems are essentially reaffirming or kind of keeping us on the cooler side as they come in out of Canada. So we might see some flurry action tonight as that major winter storm continues to make its way out of lower portions of the Mississippi River Valley and begins to move off towards the north and east. I would say southeastern Wisconsin, you're going to have the best chance for some light snow between now and Monday. That's where a lot of our models and where we here at News 3 Now kind of are agreeing that's likely where the best chance for light snow is going to be, probably less than even a half an inch for a lot of us. Closer to the lake with some lake effect winds influencing the snow, there may be a better chance for up to about an inch to 2, but for the most part, we're likely just going to make off with about a dusting to a half an inch. The cold continues to stick around. Alert day conditions through Monday, again, with these high pressure systems reinforcing this cooler air. Wind chill values waking up on Sunday are still going to be on the cooler side, about 15 to 25 degrees below zero. Our winds are light now because that center of high pressure is overhead, but as it begins to slide off to the south, our winds pick back up in speed, so we'll likely see wind chill values or feel them 25 to 35 degrees below zero waking up on Monday. So stay with News 3 Now throughout the weekend and especially Monday morning, checking in online periodically if any schools were to be at the very least delaying their class start time on Monday because of the expected cold on Monday morning with those wind chills. Now, looking ahead, beyond our extended forecast, do we start to get into some warmer than average temperature trends? It looks like we're somewhere in between. I would bet, or I think I should say, that we're likely going to stay cooler than average, not by what we just saw, no more of these Arctic blasts, but likely cooler than average by a few degrees through probably the middle of February. Once we get into the midpoint of February, because this is through the 7th, once we get to about the midpoint of February, that's when things may start to change. We may start to tap into some of that warmer than average temperature air that is just off to our west. But as long as these high pressure systems keep coming down, they're just going to reinforce this cold. And so this whole thing has to break down. It's a strong weather pattern, and I think it's going to stick around through, as I mentioned, about the midpoint of February. Until then, we do get above zero starting tomorrow. We will end our streak here. We get into the double digits on Monday. We stay there through the rest of the extended forecast. Some light snow chances on Sunday and then again on Tuesday. Other than that, we're not looking at any major snow, even that chance next Sunday. We're also looking at maybe the return of the teens and 20s by the upcoming weekend for a lot of us. So by that following Monday, getting towards truly the end of January, we will hopefully start to feel like we're in spring.
I mean, the fact that we can even talk about middle of February being on the horizon just shows us how fast the year is already going by.
Yeah, again, we went from about 10 degrees above average at the midpoint of January. We're now only 10 days off of that, and we're only now up to about a degree warmer because of this cold air. So we flip the switch. We'll see when we flip it back, but I wouldn't expect it any sooner than mid-February, so we got some time.
But to that point, that 21 we could potentially see the following Monday.
Yeah.
You're probably going to see even more Wisconsinites out in some shorts because
we're Wisconsinites?
Yeah, going
exactly.
from negative like 17 or whatever it was yesterday to then 21.
Hey, I'll put on the sunglasses because I know those pasty white legs because we have been inside, a lack of sun. I'll put on my sunglasses and fine, enjoy yourselves.
I'm with you on that one. But Kay, it's been so cold. You don't even have to play hockey in an arena. You can just do it right outside.
No, honestly, just go to Lake Minota and you can probably play on the ice, honestly. But next for us coming up in sports, how women's hockey is doing, even though a couple of their players are about to be gone.
And now, News 3 Now Sports, brought to you by TDS Telecom.
With the Winter Olympics coming up fast, this weekend will be the last weekend Wisconsin women's hockey will have their entire team together. Next week, 5 of their players will leave for the Winter Olympics in Italy, and they will have to find a way to play like they did tonight, taking on the Bend State, who scored first in this game, but the Badgers weren't worried at all as Kristen Sims is able to slap one in for the Badgers, and the beatdown continued as Caroline Harvey got one to go as well. And the Badgers dominated this game, scoring 10 points and winning this one with ease. After years of not being in the spotlight and then starting the season 11-1 in the Kohl Center for the best season start since 2009, Badger women's basketball is back. And Bucky and new head coach Robin Pingeton have the opportunity to set the tone and help this team reach heights that they haven't in a while. Head coach Robin Pingeton said it all comes down to one thing.
I think we've done a better job with our rotations and putting out fires for each other and understanding, it's not a game of absolutes, but you got to play hard, you got to play gritty, you got to be locked in, and you got to cover for each other. It's not, it's not individual defense, it's team defense. We got to get team stops, and I just think our rotations have been a lot more on point. I think we've been willing to make that extra rotation and kind of help the helper.
And a big one on the men's side this weekend as they take on Southern California, looking to extend their 5-game win streak to 6 in a whiteout game at the Kohl Center you don't want to miss. And Jalen, tip-off is set for 3 p.m. in this one tomorrow, and I think it's just going to be really important for them to win this game. I mean, going on a 6-game win streak, having only maybe a couple games left in conference play, this could be a team that could be really high up, go into conference championship game.
Yeah, absolutely, and I feel as if they've started to find their groove.
Yeah.
John Blackwell and Nick Boyd looking a lot like last year's tandem with John Blackwell and John Tonje as well. So if they can continue to score those points between the two of them, everybody else make some shots as needed.
Yep.
Get a few stops on defense. You know, they could probably make a run at some point this season.
Yeah, definitely.
And speaking of staying cold, no, I'm kidding.
Sure.
Look, I'm kind of tired.
I'm looking.
Of
I'm
freezing.
listening.
I'm kind of tired of freezing. So, like, what's
You
going
and
on?
me and everybody else, Jalen.
Hey, I can still express how I feel, though. I understand
No,
a lot
I
of
know.
people feel this way. However,
Yes.
I still feel the way that I feel.
Okay.
It's like, what's going on?
Which is, you're tired.
Tired.
Well, the cold is sticking around, so I don't know what to say, Jalen and folks at home. We are luckily not going to be experiencing those 40 to 45 degree wind chills from here on out. It is going to feel about 15 to 20 degrees below zero as we go overnight into Sunday, 25 to 30 degrees below zero Monday, which is why alert day conditions stick around through the weekend into the start of next week.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Blaze, and thank you, Kay. And we'll see you guys back here tonight for News 3 Now at 10.